what has the NBA Summer League taught us this far? Now, obviously, you have to take everything in Summer League with a grain of salt. It's just a few games, and they're going to be playing talent that probably won't be playing in the NBA, but also talent that's trying their best so they can play in the NBA. And we've seen prospects that have played great in Summer League and awful in the regular season, and we've seen people who play awful in the Summer League but play great in the regular season. Although I do believe that there are things you can learn about prospects through Summer League, and I think there are signs from Summer League to what they're going to do in the regular season. So this is going to be what I've seen in a few prospects this Summer League thus far. And of course, I have to start out with the one, the only, Victor Wembanyama. Now, Victor has had an interesting Summer League to say the least, and we only got to see a glimpse of him. He only played 2 games before the Spurs decided to shut him down for the rest of Summer League. And the first game was below average, I'd say. He shot 2 of 13 from the field, only scoring 9 points, but he did have 8 rebounds to go along with 5 blocks. So overall, Game 1 was solid, it was just scoring that was his issue, but in Game 2 he put it all together along with scoring. In that game, he scored 27 points, 12 rebounds, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. And while I would have loved to see Victor for more than just 2 games, I do believe, as hard as it is for me to say, it was the right decision to shut him down, because at the end of the day, there's no point to put him in positions that could injure him, in games that just really don't matter. And let's be realistic here, and I really don't enjoy the pressure that people are putting on him, and I don't expect him to be an all-star year 1. I do expect him to be really good, especially based off of what we just saw. Even with a disappointing Game 1, he has shown a lot of promise for things to come. And this is where things really start to get interesting as we move on to the number 2 overall pick, Brandon Miller. And I haven't hated what I've seen from him, but I have also seen a few things that are a cause for concern if he doesn't fix it by the start of the season. In his first Summer League game, Brandon Miller did score 18 points, and you might be thinking, Chris, that's not that bad. I don't know what you're concerned about. He also had 5 turnovers to go along with 5 fouls, and those 5 fouls could have been more, but in the box score there was a few fouls called that they didn't think were actual fouls, so they took them off. And the NBA actually scratched off those fouls. And in his second Summer League game, he scored 6 points, mostly due to the fact he only took 4 shots. And it seems that I'm seeing consistently the same issues with him. He also had 4 turnovers in this game to go along with 8 fouls, meaning that he would have fouled out plus 2 more fouls. In his third Summer League game, he started to get a little bit better, scoring 16 points, only 2 turnovers, but he's still showing the fouling issue with 5 of them. Game 4 against the Lakers, we saw different issues. This time it was just his shooting, which can be streaky anyway. He went 4 of 18, scored 10 points. That can easily be ironed out. And then we saw 0 turnovers from him, which is very promising, and then 4 fouls, which he is slowly cutting them down. And now we come to his most recent game, in which he scored 26 points on 53% shooting, 50% from 3, hit all 7 of his free throws, did have another 5 personal fouls, but only a singular turnover. So overall, Brandon Miller's Summer League has been very, very up and down, and if you follow my channel, you know that I am a firm believer in Scoot Henderson, and I believe that he should have gone 2nd overall, and so far, I still believe that, and I do believe that Brandon Miller has tons of potential, and I'm not saying that Scoot's going to be miles ahead of him, but I do believe that, especially after this, Scoot is the better player, and I do believe he should have gone 2nd. But if he can iron out the turnover and fouling issue before the start of the season, I do believe he can be very good. And these next 2 guys I'm going to be very, very brief about because both of them were injured very, very early on, actually in a game against each other, those 2 being Scoot Henderson and Amen Thompson. Both of them had very, very strong showings in their first bit of action. For Scoot, in 21 minutes of play, he scored 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, going down with a shoulder injury and exiting the game. And for Amen, his injury happened later in the game, so he got to play 28 minutes, and he finished the game with 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, which is really, really solid when it comes to a debut. And he also had 3 steals and 4 blocks. But I also believe it's unfair to say anything about either of these guys given off of one game that neither of them truly finished. And so far in the Summer League, there have been a ton of rookies who have been very, very promising. But I'm going to go ahead and end it off with 16th overall pick, Keyonte George. And it did take him a minute to settle in, but his last 2 games he scored 33 points and then 26 points respectively. And in those 2 games, he also had 10 and 7 assists, so it's not like he's out there being a pure scorer. So if Utah decides to give him the green light this year, he could be an amazing scorer. The only thing that he really, really needs to work on is his defense. And real quick, I want to reiterate what I said at the beginning of the video. Obviously, you have to take everything in the Summer League with a grain of salt, and things change so fast. But these are a few guys that I think have had really good Summer Leagues, and I also wanted to point out a few things that I saw for concern. But with that said, I thank you all so much for watching. I'm Chris Higgins, and this has been Fanatic Breakdown.